Well, there it is, the story of Lyle Thompson, the gun shearer. And this is the first time I've actually looked at for material from my own family, such as my older brother Lyle, because he's the one who lived this rugged life in the Queensland outback. I've told you a little about it once it was published, but I'm getting some wonderful feedback, and not only from outside, it's also coming from within the family who didn't really understand all the things that happened. I mean, this is a really rugged life in the central west Queensland outback, but the country, the terrain, and the conditions in the wool industry of the time, that is from the late 50s right through to the 90s, has seen many changes, but at the same time, the early beginnings when Lyle joined it, quite amazing. He's told a little of his story, but he can tell you a whole lot more. And what I'm really thrilled about is I've just received a little feedback from the family, from my own son, my eldest son, Jim. And I've got it here somewhere. Yeah, he just wrote back today, and so I'm sharing it with you. Dad, I read Lyle's book in a day. I just loved it. Bloody funny. And his mateship is not unlike a soldier's mateship, as far as I can tell. Now, he's referring to the fact he served with the military, the Australian military, one of the trouble spots as a peacekeeper. And so he knows what he's talking about. And this is the camaraderie, the fraternity, whatever you want to call it, within such institutions as the military, but also in the fraternity that was formed in the Australian wool industry, certainly in the heyday of the wool industry in Australia, and all the things that this team of men, quite diverse in their backgrounds, went into. It's quite interesting. And what my son is talking about, though, is it's funny. And it really is, because he met so many bush characters. He said, very funny read in harsh conditions during his working life. That's true. And he talks about some of the mirth we all had about him wagging school without my parents, his parents, knowing about it for 6 months. Away from that, it's the bush characters. And he says here, this is my eldest son, he's saying, I could laugh and easily imagine his parents' response, that is, my son's grandmother and grandfather. He said grandma's response and granddad's understanding to Lyle's wayward ways. I remember them both quite vividly. He's talking about his grandparents. And he says, I was amazed, he said, I could relate to Lyle in more than a couple of aspects. And then he refers to my eldest daughter, Linda, and he said she can certainly relate to it as well. And I know she does because she was there. We recorded all the raw material, that is, Lyle telling me his own story and me recording it. She was there. It was her farm with her partner, Brad, and she was laughing, and she said to me afterwards, she said, I never knew that I could relate to him so much. And it's all through the telling of the story. Anyway, Jim, my oldest son, goes on, great book, well done, so iconic, and Lyle is very definitely a man who lived a major part of Australian history. He calls it an excellent read. Okay, so that's in-house, that's in the family, and the nice messages I'm getting through Facebook and, of course, through emails about how much people are enjoying the book. It's really gratifying because his lifetime is quite a story worth telling. So that's the gun shearer, Lyle Thompson.